Why was Jesus killed? There are all kinds of theories that Christians have thrown out over the years, such as it was a Jewish conspiracy, it was a fulfillment of prophecy. And the real reason Jesus killed, however, was because of how the Roman Empire viewed him. The Romans did not kill thieves, they did not kill preachers. Who they executed on the cross were political insurrectionaries. And this can really be seen. There were a number of charges against Jesus, but the one charge that really hangs in front of us is really important is the one that was over his head on the cross, the King of the Jews. And when he went before Pontius Pilate, that's all Pontius Pilate questioned him on. That's all he wanted to know. Are you the King of the Jews? And finally Jesus said, yes, I am the King of the Jews. That's why I came into the world and to witness the truth. At which point Pontius Pilate says, what is truth? So the reason Jesus was killed because he was considered a threat to the Roman Empire. And there were a number of reasons why he was considered a threat. One was that he did claim he was another king. He was gaining a popular movement behind him, and that troubled them. And they did not want any more trouble with any more of these political insurrectionaries. At the time of Christ, there was a lot of political turmoil over what the Romans were doing. A lot of it stemmed around their religious practices. Caesar was seen as God, and that was greatly offensive to all Jewish people. But the other thing is how they carried forth crucifixion, which to the Jews was totally abhorrent. And if you want to understand why Christ did go to the cross, you have to look at the method and why they did it. As I said, the reason that people were crucified was not two reasons, essentially. It was for rebellious slaves and for people who they thought were seditious in a political sense. The method of crucifixion was intended to be a public service announcement. And what it said was, if you do what this fellow did, if you want to be a political rebel, this is going to happen to you too. So it was meant to be like a neon sign to the world, don't do this. The method of crucifixion is really important. The nails were placed so that the victim wouldn't bleed very much, so they'd be hanging on the cross for 2 or 3 days under the hot, scorching Mediterranean sun. So they would bake and burn, their skin would be burned. They were flogged and beaten before they got there. And one thing that was really abhorrent to the Jews was that the bodies were often just taken down from the cross, laid on the ground, and dogs would eat them and birds of prey. But again, that was done for one reason. It was to stop political rebellion. So Jesus was killed because he was considered a political insurrectionary. So the message really is this, and it's the same message that we're facing today. If you're going to practice the principles of Jesus, which are gentleness, peace, nonviolence, and reaching out to help others, you're going to face attack, and you're going to face rejection, and you're going to face death. And those principles, to be honest with you, Jesus' principles didn't work well in his own time. He was popular for a while, but as soon as he came under the gun or under the shadow of the cross, he was deserted and he was alone. And the principles don't work well today. I guess the bottom line to this is that, humanly speaking, you cannot imitate Christ. Very, very difficult. And to be real blunt with you, we're not good enough as human beings to do so.